You stumble upon a job opportunity, a chance to grab your dream career, the perfect office, a great paycheck, and the promise of exciting adventures. It's everything you've ever wanted. So, what's your first move? You save the application and eagerly begin preparing all the documents you'd need to make it happen. But for some reason, you find yourself delaying, avoiding the necessary tasks. Days slip away, and now you're down to the wire. Just one day left until the deadline. That's when two options emerge. Option 1, submit rushed subpar work, or option 2, don't submit at all because it doesn't meet your highly impossible standards. You choose the latter, berating yourself for not working harder, for waiting until the last moment. But does it stop there? No. This cycle, this relentless pattern isn't confined to just job opportunities. It seeps into your everyday life. And this is just a scene or a crafted scene that I have done to take you through a journey of self-sabotage and procrastination and perfectionism, all that leads to one inevitable destination: self-criticism. You're welcome. Honestly, it took me a while to put a name on it, and it wasn't until I spoke to someone about how I felt that I was able to identify what was really going on. I often asked myself, why am I not living the life that I want to live, or why am I not where I have envisioned myself to be? And to be honest, the answer could be anything. It could be that I've not been making the right choices. It could be that I'm not it could be that I'm not in the right place at the right time, or my time hasn't reached yet. But I identified one thing that I was constantly doing in multiple areas of my life that I wanted to address today. Now, I will start off with the trigger. What made me realize this? The area of my life that this has shown in the most, and I'm willing to use as an example for this video, is my content creation journey. I started my YouTube channel on the 14th of July 2019, and it actually did better than I expected. I expected a few 20, 50 subscribers. I don't know. I felt like I didn't know anybody. Most of the people I knew were from school, and they say your social media is not necessarily for your friends and family, it's for people out there in the world, it's for you to connect with other people, it's for you to help other people. So I didn't think that my channel was going to do any good, and it did well than I expected. I was able to push out a couple of videos to the point where I saw some growth, especially with the videos that included other people. I started this channel because my sister started a channel. That was mainly the reason why I started the channel. And so I didn't really have any foundation, any reason, any grounds for making this channel. There was no plan behind the channel. And so over the years, I really, really struggled with what I wanted the channel to be about, the mold. I struggled with the identity of the channel. And so I would post random videos here, any video that came in my mind, anything I thought would be interesting, anything I thought would get me subscribers, but there was no core to the channel. And while I was figuring out the direction for the channel, the little growth I had actually scared me. And I know this might sound silly, and someone will be like,
"You are going in. Why are you scared? Are you crazy? Your channel was doing well. Why are you scared?"
I was scared because what if this channel does well and I have to prove myself that I really do deserve the subscribers that I got? I was scared because I had to get out of my comfort zone to do things that I haven't done before to help the channel grow and create content. I was scared because I wasn't used to my social media doing well. I was scared of change. So, what did I do? I procrastinated. I did what I did best. I would ignore the channel. I would come back 4 to 5 months. I'll post one video here, one video there, just when I feel guilty enough to do something. I started running away from creating content, and the views I had at that time started reducing till what I have now. But for some reason, I'm not that mad. I'm not that mad because at this point, I believe that I have a gist of where I want the channel to be and the direction that I want for the channel. So I'm more of excited at this point, but that's not the point of the video. We are here to talk about self-sabotage. As I was saying, slowly the traction that I had built for the channel started going down. I started losing views, not necessarily subscribers. I think it took me over 4 years to realize that this is what was going on, that I was actually self sabotaging, and it wasn't just simply procrastination. It's one thing to procrastinate about an assignment or a project that is due or some work that is really hard to do, and it's another to self sabotage because you are scared of success or you are scared of stepping into the unknown. So now that I've given you a brief on why I'm talking about self sabotage right now in connection with or to, I'm not so sure. I have a problem with prepositions. I will try my best. But basically, what I'm trying to say is that now that I've given you a brief of why I am talking about self sabotage, especially relating to my channel, I want to talk about how it has shown up in my life and how it can show up in yours. Now, self sabotage can show up in many forms. So, very commonly, we all tend to experience procrastination and avoidance. This is when you delay or avoid tasks that will help you to achieve your goals. Now, I want to clarify that there are levels to procrastination. That everyone procrastinates. Sometimes it's even great to procrastinate. It allows you to focus on other things rather than focusing too much on certain things. I'm not saying it's good to procrastinate. I'm just saying everyone procrastinates, but there are levels to it. It's one thing to procrastinate, like I said before. It's one thing to procrastinate about your assignment or your project or something that you are dreading doing because it might be hard or require so much for you to do, so you tend to procrastinate. But there's this form of procrastination and avoidance where you know this thing is like signing a deal that will take you to a whole new level, and you don't want to sign simply because you are scared of success or scared of the outcome. The reasons for procrastinating in these two scenarios are completely different. One is because the task is tedious and you cannot even bear, you are not necessarily scared, but you are dreading the whole process of actually doing the work. The other, it's not a hard task. You already know it's not a hard task. You are just avoiding it or procrastinating because you are scared of the unknown, scared of success, or scared of being something, finally leaving a very comfortable place that you are in. Basically, you are scared of change, you are scared of discomfort. That is that type of procrastination and avoidance I'm talking about, where all it takes is just for you to sign a contract, and you don't want to sign the contract because you now have to have responsibilities. That is the kind of procrastination I'm talking about. Another form that procrastination can show up in is self criticism. Self criticism. This is when we engage in negative self talk and doubts, and over time, it affects our confidence, and it starts to convince us that we are not up to task or we are not capable of doing certain things. See how we all believe strongly that 1 plus 1 is 2. If someone comes to you and tells you 1 plus 1 is equal to 10, you'd think that they are crazy. You'd think that they are crazy. It's the same thing when you doubt and criticize yourself so much. When you think of yourself in the negative for so long, your brain tends to agree with you. That is why oftentimes you would hear people tell you, I don't know what is going on. Okay. That is why oftentimes you hear people tell you that don't engage in negative self talk because your brain tends to believe you. When you give your brain things to believe in, it will believe in those things and it will become your new reality. So negative self-talk will convince you that you are who you think you are. So watch your mouth and watch the things you tell yourself. Sometimes even jokingly you'd say,
Say, oh, I'm so stupid. Oh, I'm so bad with names. Oh, I'm so bad with this. Oh, I'm bad at that.
nope. You don't need to tell yourself that because your brain will believe that you are bad at those things. Your brain will believe that you think you are stupid. Your brain will believe that you are mad. Your brain will believe that you're a fool. Your brain will believe that you are not intelligent enough. Your brain will believe that you are not up to task for certain things. Your brain will believe that things are too big for you. Your brain will believe that you are not ready for that opportunity. Negative self talk goes a very long way in affecting how you see yourself as an individual. And when you start seeing yourself in a very negative light, it prevents other people from seeing you any good. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about is something that a lot of people suffer from, and it is the last one is even juicier, so stay for that one. The next one I'm going to talk about is perfectionism. I am a sucker for perfectionism. This has been one of my major challenges, and I am still not getting rid, I'm still dealing with moving past perfectionism, being able to put things out there regardless of how imperfect they are. Imperfect. Regardless of how imperfect they are. We tend to have these unattainable, impossibly high standards for ourselves that we can't even achieve. And guess what? We will beat ourselves up when we don't achieve them, knowing very well that these are really high standards. It's like you imagine or you envision this beautiful thing of how things are supposed to be like, and when they are not like that, you tend to beat yourself up because damn, I really wish I was like this. I really wish this video went this type of way. And I'm starting out like this. I'm going to put out this content regardless of how imperfect it is because that's human nature. Nobody's perfect. And this might sound cliche, but yes, nobody is perfect. And so let your imperfections shine through. And most of the time, the people who suffer from perfectionism are the ones who would encourage other people through their imperfections. Encourage other people through their imperfections. That's the word. It's like we tell other people that it's okay to make mistakes, you are human, but then that doesn't apply to us when it comes to our task and our creative ideas and our creative work and our beautiful works that we put into the world. It's time that we accept that if other people can make mistakes, then we can too. All right, so the next point is my all-time favorite, and it is the classic procrastination perfection. How could I mess it up in the middle like this? It is the procrastination perfectionism duo. That is what I call it. Here, you are not just a perfectionist because in your mind, it would take so much energy and work to get to that impossibly high, unattainable standards. You tend to procrastinate because it will require so much work than it would normally require. And oftentimes, what this leads to is analysis paralysis. And this is your inability to make a decision because you're just overthinking the problem. So, for example, if you have a particular task and we have this perfect scene and how we want to create it, we are never going to get over making the decision to create that task in a certain way because our perfect scene in our minds, it's going to require so much effort for us to do that thing. We never get to make a decision because we are overthinking what needs to be done. Analysis paralysis when you have a task and you are procrastinating because you want to be a perfectionist. I have suffered this, especially for my channel. I cannot remember how many videos I've created I never posted or edited because I wasn't going to get it as perfect as I would get it. I did lose a lot of videos from not having enough storage, my videos stopping in the middle, losing content footage, and a whole lot. But the majority was to being procrastinating because I wanted it to be perfect and I didn't have perfect scenes. I didn't have perfect backgrounds. I didn't have perfect lighting. I didn't have the perfect lens. But I'm doing better, I guess. I'm trying nowadays. I am trying to put things out there in the world, regardless of how imperfect they are. Honestly, there's more, but we are not going to leave if I decide to talk about every single thing. Another reason too is the fear of success. And I mentioned this when I was talking about my YouTube channel. Success to some of us is the introduction of new challenges and responsibilities. And having to feel unprepared is really scary, especially to me. I don't know for you, but feeling unprepared for anything in life is very scary to me. And for someone who has been a perfectionist for a very long time, it is very scary to not be in control. It is very scary to have something, to be doing something where it may not turn out right. It's like you don't have the skills to start something. And usually every beginner is bad, right? And so knowing that you're going to be bad at the beginning is the biggest nightmare for anybody who is suffering from perfectionism. And that is very scary, knowing that I'm not going to be good when I started. I'm not going to have all the facts. I'm not going to know everything. And so I'm not going to be in control as much as I would want to. Starting when you're a beginner makes you feel like you are not up to task, and slowly low self esteem steps in, and imposter syndrome also sets in, making you feel like you don't deserve the success, you don't deserve to be in this place. You only got here by luck, you only got here by certain circumstances. But you know what? Life is a whole big ball of circumstances, it's a whole big ball of luck, who you know, where you are from, God. I would attribute all of that to God. Some of you don't believe in God, so I would say this whole universe, it's not fair and it will never be. And so stop thinking that you would be perfect, you would be at the right place all the time. Things are going to align like how you think they would, because that's not how life works. If you had everything right all the time, you would never appreciate the feeling of success. It's good to fail, it's good to not feel like you are up to task. So when you succeed and you learn something, you can appreciate the feeling of succeeding because you worked so hard. If it was easy to get abs, nobody would appreciate abs. It was so easy to make money and it was on the ground and everyone was picking, money would have no value. The value in the things that you are looking for is hard, because that is what makes it worth it. And I know I'm being cliche, but that is the truth. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is how I am overcoming self-sabotage and how you can too. Now, the only reason why I'm able to work on my self-sabotaging tendencies is because I recognized it. I identified that this is what I was truly going through. The first step is acceptance, and you have to accept that you are truly self-sabotaging. You are the reason why you are not reaching your dreams, your goals, and where you want to be in life. One, I am setting realistic goals. If you have a really big goal, break it down into smaller ones and start achieving the little ones. And once you are able to achieve the very little ones, it will give you a lot of courage, confidence to tackle the bigger ones. So you could start by making your bed every single day. One thing that I've learned is that when you constantly set goals, bigger goals, and you constantly break them or you don't achieve them, you kind of tell your brain to not trust your word. Over time, your brain is going to lose trust for your words and it's going to also affect your confidence. So start with realistic goals. If it's too big, break it down and start tackling the little and easier ones first. So before, I had planned that I wanted to hit 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year. It may seem too far for me for a channel that has taken so long to get to 1,000 subscribers. That is a big goal to me. So what I'm trying to do is that I'm trying to break it down into, for example, posting consistently and maybe posting once every week for the rest of the year. That is a little goal that I can wrap my head around. That is the little goal that I can actually achieve by posting once every week till the end of the year. So once I'm doing that, indirectly, I am trying to reach my goal of getting the 5,000 subscribers. But if I put the goal getting 5,000 subscribers, how am I even doing it? So breaking it down into posting consistently once every week, finding my channel vibe, the language with which I want to speak to my audience, whether I want to be playful, whether I want to be serious, I want to be mysterious, all of those are little goals that will help me reach my 5,000 goal mark. The next thing I want to talk about, which is linked to criticism, is that I am constantly engaging in positive self-talk, self-affirmation. If you look at yourself in the mirror every time you brush your teeth, this girl is gorgeous. This girl is brilliant. You are brilliant. You've gotten so far not by being a fraud. You've gotten so far by putting in the work. You got your degree. If you have your degree, you got your degree because you worked hard for it. You got your degree because you studied at times. You got your degree because you sat through your own exams. You got your degree because you didn't cheat around. You got your degree, okay, maybe you did cheat. You got your degree because, not necessarily your degree, but you are where you are because you've put in the work so far. regardless of how little it is. So give yourself some credit. Don't tell yourself you're dumb. Cut out negative words from your dictionary and never use that. No matter how playful the situation is, never accept negative self talk. Don't accept it from other people as well. The last thing I would want to say is that get professional help. Mine may not be as serious or chronic, but if you are really suffering from deep self sabotage, then you would need a therapist. You need to speak to somebody. If you can't afford a therapist, find somebody that you can trust and talk constantly through it. I'm able to better understand my problems and my issues when I talk about it. Even if I'm not talking to somebody, you can start writing a journal. You can sit and talk to yourself. You can go on walks and talk to yourself and reason things through. So that's sometimes what I do. I would just go for a walk in my neighborhood and think through things. Yeah. So you can try that. And the last thing is be delusional. Being delulu is the only solulu. Be delusional. Places that you don't think you can enter, enter. If you think your video is not even good enough, post it. Put yourself out there regardless of how you don't like it. Not in the sense that post anything that comes to your mind. No. But even if your work is not as good, post it. You might get comments, you might get people who even like it. It will shock you the number of people who like what you think is not great. So be delusional and put yourself out there. Thank you so much for listening to me rant and talk about self sabotage. I am on my I am on my journey of overcoming self sabotage, and I hope that if you are suffering from self sabotage, you can also come out of that. I do pray that we both come out of that eventually and become the best versions of ourselves. I am being cliche again, but thank you so much. Bye.